Listen closely to the bass drum in this jam. That steady kick, it's not the patching panda, and it's not the DFAM. That sound is coming from the mother. The sequence at the top is coming from the DFAM. I'm using a quantizer to make the pitch of the DFAM stay within a particular key. This opens up so many possibilities for this very powerful synth.
Hey everyone, welcome to part 7 of my Expanding the Sound Studio series. In this series, we're building up a rack, adding one module at a time in each video, and using the Moog Sound Studio as a base for building up your rack setup. So at this point, we already have 4 modules. We have the Cumulus as an effects module, an AI synthesis mixer, we have Pam's Pro Workout, and then we have the Patching Panda bass drum as an additional drum voice. Today, we're gonna be adding a Quantizer. The Quantizer I'm going to be using is the Doepfer A-156 dual Quantizer. There are tons out there, and this is a pretty basic one. It's also a pretty cheap one. It gets the job done, but there are seriously lots of Quantizers out there with tons of different features. I have 2 Quantizers. I have this one, and then I also use an Ornament and Crime module sometimes as a Quantizer too. This has 4 Quantizers, and you can choose scales and everything like that. It does have a menu, but still, if I need something more powerful, I usually go to something like this. So why would I pick a Quantizer at this point? So one of the most difficult parts about using the DFAM is the pitch sequencer. It has a huge octave range, and it's really hard to dial in specific sequences. And you can use a tuner or something like that to get exact notes if you want them, but using a Quantizer makes it so much easier. And if you take the pitch out of the DFAM, plug it into the Quantizer, and then back into it, you can create all kinds of different sequences, melodic sequences, bass lines, you name it. There's lots of different creative uses for it. So what does a Quantizer do? It takes any type of control voltage and turns it into stepped voltage. So rather than a smooth LFO going up, it'll go up and start and stop at certain points and keep going on. Specifically, it's going to stop at voltage points that give off particular notes. You can choose whether or not you're playing the entire major or minor scale or just an arpeggio. There's also an input. If you do want to transpose, you can add some control voltage and transpose it that way, similar to transposing on the subharmonicon. This is a dual Quantizer, so you can actually quantize 2 different voltages to the same scale. There's a jumper on the back that allows you to do that. We're only going to use one today, and we're going to use the pitch coming out of the DFAM and going back in to create a sequence. We'll explore more with it later when we're looking at other modules, but I think if I walk you through how I patched up the intro music, that'll give you a good idea of what you can use it for. So with all that said, let's head over to the sound studio and make some music. Okay, so let's walk through this patch, and I'll also explain how the Doepfer dual Quantizer works and how it kind of fits into everything. As I said in the intro, the sequence is not coming from the mother at all. In fact, the mother is just simply holding down a bass drum sound. So let me go ahead and turn down everything but the mother and hit play. And that's it. I have output 2 of PAMs going into the gate of the mother. And I'll just quickly explain the settings right here. We have the cutoff around here, a little bit of noise going in, but I've set this up pretty much just the same way that the DFAM does. The VCF mod source is coming from the envelope, and that's kind of similar to how the envelopes on the DFAM work for the VCO. I have the VCO mod set to frequency because that's exactly how the DFAM's set up. And then we have the VCO mod amount going all the way up. On the other side, I have the filter mod set to envelope as well, and that's the same thing as the envelope of the DFAM. Then with all this together, I have it playing down in the 2nd octave on a C, and that's pretty much it. You get a nice bass drum sound. I have this one set to pulse wave. So with the bass drum going on the mother, that frees up everything else to do all kinds of other things. We have the DFAM playing our crazy sequence. We have the Patching Panda bass drum playing a weird kind of other drum sound. But this video is primarily focused on the Quantizers. So what's going on here is that the pitch of the DFAM is coming out, and rather than going into noise level or something like that, I have it going into the Quantizer. And then I have the Quantizer going out and going into VCO1 of the DFAM. Now on the sequencer itself, the sequence pitch mod, I have this set to off, because if it was set to on, then it would be kind of doubly affected by the pitch, because it would be taking all the voltage coming from the pitch and adding it to the voltage coming out of the Quantizer. But what this means is that I have it right now set to a minor. And so that means that all the notes that are playing are going to be minor. Let's listen to just the DFAM. And if you turn any of the pitches, it will stay quantized. Pretty cool stuff. And then on PAMs, just to give it some rhythmical variation, I put in, I hope you can see this, but I set it to be going in with some Euclidean steps. So it's not happening, it's not consistently going on 16th notes, but it's skipping steps here and there. Every time it gives off a pulse, that means it's going to move one step forward. So this creates this kind of ever-evolving rhythm because it skips steps at different parts. So with those two going on, I also want to show you what's happening with the Patching Panda. I am sending that through clouds along with the DFAM, and I'm actually using the audio in the recording of this. I actually used the audio from the DFAM and mixed it in with the audio from the Cumulus. But I'm going to go ahead and take out the audio from Patching Panda from Cumulus just so you can hear what's going on. We're going to listen to it directly. It's being triggered by output 4 of PAMs. And if you look on that, it's at 16th notes, but I have that going with Euclidean steps too, and there aren't a lot of triggers on this one. And the reason it's going up and down is because I have the triangle LFO going into the volts per octave, and I also have it tuned up pretty high because I wanted it to be a higher percussive voice to give contrast to the deep bass drum coming out of the mother. When you listen to it coming through on the Cumulus, and then on top of that, I just have kind of a regular sequence going in the sub. I'm actually using the sequencer 2 out to modulate the pitch of the Cumulus as well. So that it just kind of ties everything all together. So there you have it. That's the Quantizer. That's what I would recommend for my next module. As I said before, I'm not exactly making specific recommendations of definitely get this Doepfer Quantizer. There's lots of other full-featured quantizers out there, and so if you like this kind of effect and you think you're going to use it a lot, then you might want to check out something that has more features. I really like using Doepfer modules because they're simple and they don't have menus and that type of thing. So I typically will use this module and then I'll switch over to the Ornament and Prime if I want something more complicated. But there you have it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. In the next video, we're going to be taking on maths. We're going to put maths in the rack. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.